Yo, you're watching Shurkou, and today I'm gonna be showcasing the 3 most buffed champions on Wild Rift patch 2.3a, and of course I'm gonna be showing you their build and rune setups as well, so you can go ahead and try them in your ranked games. And as you can see, the first one is gonna be that Xin Zhao. He received a very nice buff. The bonus magic resistance and base health that he received is very nice for him. You can go for a super tanky build now, and it works so incredibly well. You can 1v9 games completely. I'm not kidding. I'm playing this champion so much on the new patch. I'm completely in love with it. And not only those buffs, okay, but there's another small buff that really helps Xin Zhao out a lot. The little smite buff, right? Smite now gives you mana regen if you are in the jungle or in the river completely passively. As soon as you have a smite, you will have that mana regen at pretty much all times as a jungler, because you spend a lot of your time in the jungle or in the river. So this works just extremely well for him because he ran into some mana issues before this patch. And as you can see, the build, as I already mentioned, is extremely tanky. I tried a full assassin build. It can work, you know, Youmuu's, Trinity Force, all of that good jazz. It works very well. You can completely one-shot enemy squishy champions. However, I feel like it's just too risky, you know? Ever since I tried this build, I feel like it was just completely broken. You have that Black Cleaver, which received a huge buff on patch 2.3. You have the Sterox, which just makes you so incredibly tanky. You go for that Death Stance for more ability haste and tankiness with that passive. And you get some lifesteal as well. Then you go for that Gargoyle Stoneplate because you go deep into those fights, and then you just pretty much finish it with 2 tank items. Now, this is very variable. You can also go for this if they don't have too much physical damage. Keep in mind, this item received a little bit of a nerf 2 patches ago. You can also go for this if you're fighting a Yasuo or double marksman or something like that. It's just champions that use a lot of crit. But yeah, that is, you can also in fringe cases probably go for this because it's a lot of ability haste, and it's good against champions that rely a lot on their auto attacks, which isn't necessarily only physical damage champions, but also stuff like Diana. So keep that in mind. And this is just absolutely amazing. You can also in fringe cases go for this, you can go for this. As you can see, the last 2 items are very variable, but the first 3 is a core. I've also been trying out Sunfire Aegis as a second item. Doesn't have to be. It's really fun though. If you wanna do a little bit of trolling, it's definitely fun. Now for the runes here, Conqueror pretty much always completely standard. You want that bonus damage. Then Brutal for every single jungler is a standard rune. You can't go without it because you need it for that early jungle clear. You need to make that as fast as possible. So you need to take the early game runes. Then the Mastermind, again, very standard. Can't really change that as a jungler, but this row is very interchangeable. Sometimes you want to go for this, sometimes you even want to go for the conditioning. It all depends. If they have a lot of CC, of course you want to go for the Hunter Titan. In most games, the enemies will have a lot of CC, so this is a very good choice. But again, the bone plating is amazing as well. If you're fighting a lot of assassins, this completely counters Akali, this completely counters Zed, Fizz, beautiful rune. But yeah, pretty much this is also really good for the late game if you want to just scale and you don't need these 2. But I pretty much go most of the time with this setup. Now, let me show you some of the damage he can dish out. Alright, so I am max level here. I have the full item build that I just showed you. So we are extremely tanky, as you can clearly see. Quick little tip, in game, you want to max the second ability first, and then the third ability. And again, I play him jungle. You can take this build to the Baron lane as well though. It should work extremely well too, but I think jungle is definitely his preferred role. Now check out the combo. Of course, the combo isn't really too special, and as you can see, we did 2.5k damage with just a very basic combo. Now let me show you the full assassin build. Alright, our build is Youmuu's, Trinity Force, Death Stance, Sterox, and a Guardian Angel. I know it's not full assassin, but try going full assassin, full armor penetration on Xin Zhao. You will be absolute paper. You will get one shot instantly. So this is pretty much the most aggressive build you can run on this guy. And let me show you the damage, because I think it will surprise you a lot. There we go, we'll try to replicate the same combo, and that is it. 2,900 damage. So we only lose 400 damage, right? But what we do gain is we gain a bunch of utility, because we have a black cleaver, so we can help our team as well reduce the enemy armor, and we are incredibly tanky. We're literally unkillable. It is beautiful, especially with the ultimate, where the enemy marksman won't be able to damage you unless he's literally right in front of you in that circle, which probably means you will knock them up and completely blast them. So yeah, exquisite build, try it out, and let's move on to the next champion. Alright, so I think Wukong is the second biggest winner on this patch, because he received a very nice little buff to his healing on his first ability against lane minions, which may not seem too much, but it definitely helps him out a bunch in that Baron lane. I'm seeing him pop up a lot now in my ranked games. So far, I have only tried him in the jungle, because as you guys know, I hate the Baron lane. But again, in the jungle, he works extremely well too. That didn't really get buffed, that playstyle, but that received a huge rework on patch 2.3, and I didn't really show you a new build yet, so why not do it here? Again, I think Wukong is amazing right now, and as you can see, once again, a very tanky build. Now here, it actually makes sense past just the tank items being broken, like on Xin Zhao, because of course he received a rework to his healing based on his maximum health on his first ability, and you can reduce the cooldown of that first ability with auto attacks and with your clone auto attacking as well. So that is amazing. You will be able to sustain so much. And again, this build once again starts with a black cleaver. It is amazing. You will shred the whole enemy team's armor completely away with your ultimate. Then you go for that proto belt. You want to go for it very early because it's just amazing for your engages. Then you go for that Sunfire Aegis. It gives you a bunch of maximum health. It also, you will also always be on top of the enemy. You will CC them with your ultimate, so they will further stay in that Sunfire Aegis burn for a longer time. So it has a lot of value. Now again, this is where the build becomes very interchangeable. If you need a lot of armor, then you could skip the death stance and go for one of the armor items. Again, if they have a lot of crit champions like Yasuo, Jinx, Tristana, Tryndamere, you know, then you could go for the Randuin's Omen. Thornmail is always really good. Probably the item that I buy the most nowadays, because everyone has so much healing in this game. So it is really good just for the grievous wounds already, and it gives you so much armor. Spirit Visage is a no-brainer. It is such a good item. You probably want to buy it even earlier if you can. Again, if they have 2 magic damage dealers, you want to buy it as a 3rd item. The Sterox is just completely broken. We don't have to talk about that. It's a really stellar item for all these for all these bruiser champions. And again, Deadman's Plate, once again, very possible. It got nerfed, but don't be afraid to buy it, because the move speed is just so incredibly strong. Now for the runes, once again, very interchangeable. If you're playing jungle, you have Conqueror and Mastermind and Brutal pretty much locked in. And again, just like with Xin Zhao, you can take a look at Conditioning, Bone Plating, or Hunter Titan. Maybe even Second Wind if they have a lot of bursts, because you will go very tanky on this champion. So it will give you a lot of value. Now, if you're going into the Baron lane, which most of you are probably interested in, you can go for that Grasp of the Undying. You can even go for Phase Rush, which is probably a little bit of a meme, you know, but it makes sense with his ultimate, right? I don't think you need it though, especially if you have a Proto Belt. So once again, Conqueror is going to be very strong in the Baron lane as well. If you have a difficult matchup where you won't be able to really fight them for a prolonged duration, where you will only be able to poke one time with an auto attack, which again is very strong now for Wukong. That is your whole playstyle now, because they shifted a lot of his damage onto his first ability. Then you can go for the Grasp of the Undying, and it should work extremely well. Now, once again, let me show you the damage. Alright, we are level 15, we have the full item build, and what I really want to show you with Wukong is just how little cooldown he has on his first ability. As you probably noticed, we are focusing a lot around that. We're picking up 25 ability haste on the Black Cleaver, instantly going for that Sunfire Aegis for another 15 ability haste, and once again the Death's Dance. The reason why I built this as a third item so often is because of that 15 ability haste. And now just take a look at this, okay? We do this, and now we just auto attack. Look at this cooldown. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you can keep healing with it, okay? This keeps healing you for 325. And this further gets increased by the Spirit Visage. So it is absolutely crazy. It is so much fun to play this new Wukong. And his burst combo also deals just a billion damage. Just look at this. Look at the damage we're dealing to the thing. I mean, it keeps going up. This whole combo deals around 4,000 damage. So even though you're extremely tanky, you will still wreak absolute havoc in these team fights. And yeah, very recommendable. Try it out. Alright, let's get to the third and final champion I'm going to be showing you. And right here, I should be showing you Leona, okay? Because she received yet another big buff, and she's an absolute queen of this patch. I think she is very underrated, and I really want to see more Leona in my games, because as I said, I think she's super cracked out. However, she's a support. That's boring, man. The build is pretty obvious. You just go for a tanky build, you rush that Deadman's Plate like every heavy CC support does, so they can just go roam around the map and impact every single lane. That's what makes support so strong in solo queue currently. So that is not too, there's nothing to show about that, okay? Instead, I'm going to be showing you a very nice little meme build that was actually played in esports even before the buff to Fimbul Winter and Winter's Approach, okay? This is absolutely hilarious. I tried it only one game so far, and it was hilarious. Make sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell if you don't want to miss that video, because it will land on this YouTube channel very, very soon. And it was hilarious, man. I was thinking this is completely useless. But as soon as I picked up the Iceborne Gauntlet, my ability haste went through the roof. Now, if you don't understand this build, what Winter's Approach does is it is a mana stacking item like Archangels and Manamune. And what it gives you instead of attack damage or AP for all of your mana, it gives you ability haste, okay? And it gives you some very nice tank stats to boot with it. 350 maximum health. Now, what they did to this item on the new patch is they made it much faster to stack. Instead of 7 mana per ability, you now get 12 mana, okay? Which is absolutely mental. You are gonna be stacking this item super, super quickly. And the item by itself is not that good. Let's be real. It is honestly pretty garbage. But as soon as you build that Iceborne Gauntlet, which gives you 25 ability haste, 450 max mana, which gives you even more ability haste, and Iceborne Gauntlet is just a very good item for tank Gragas because of his second ability, and then you go for that Frozen Heart. Again, here you might have to go for a Spirit Visage first if they have a lot of magic damage, but man, that Frozen Heart, okay, as soon as you get that, you will have literally 0 seconds cooldown on your second ability. You will second ability, it will give you the damage reduction, and by the time the damage reduction ends, you will have it again. So you will always be running around with a buttload of damage reduction on this Gragas, so you will be absolutely unkillable. I've never seen a build with a win condition like that. Like, usually you have builds for marksmen, for mages, where if you hit a certain item, you start dealing a million damage and you just hard carry, right? But I've never seen an item that makes a tank unkillable, not because of the stats it gives you, but because it enables you to spam an ability that just makes you unkillable. It's so incredibly fun. I really encourage you to try this at least once. Again, you should try this in the Baron lane. In the jungle, it's a little bit awkward. Again, I played it in the jungle. I love jungling, so that's where I played. It's awkward in the jungle because your jungle clear is incredibly slow since you're not building any AP. I still max my first ability. You can max your second ability in the Baron lane, but again, first ability, the second ability doesn't scale too much. The damage doesn't scale too much. The percentage max health damage stays the same at all levels. So I just maxed the first ability for a faster jungle clear. But man, guys, this build is so hilarious. You will also keep proccing your passive, which makes you heal, which again is increased by the Spirit Visage. And man, the Body Slam will have like a 2-second cooldown. Mental, okay? The first ability will have less cooldown than it actually takes to completely explode it, which is hilarious. The ultimate will have like a 30-second cooldown. So, and again, let me show you the runes as well. Now, what a pro player actually did. This build was played in esports, in the Baron lane, before the buff. So that's mental. And he was running pretty much this setup. He was running Phase Rush. Now, for the rest of the runes, of course, I can't tell. But I would say in the Baron lane, probably conditioning, because you want to scale. If you're in a very hard matchup, like something that really hits you a lot, like an Akali, which I don't think is hard for Gragas, but you know what I'm saying. You can go for a bone plating. You could go for a second wind as well, probably very strong too. If you're going up against a poke setup, in the Baron lane, you want to go for a Sweet Tooth. And for the first thing, probably a weakness to raise your team's damage. You can also go for a Gathering Storm, which I wouldn't recommend with a full tank build, so probably weakness is your best bet here, or even a Triumph if you want that bonus healing, which has a lot of value for tanks that have a lot of health, so the 10% missing health is even going to be greater in those team fights. But yeah, for jungling, you just want to go for Brutal, you want to go for a Mastermind as always, and you want to most of the time go for the Hunter Titan. But again, interchangeable with conditioning and bone plating. And for the rune, I still like this. I still like Aftershock. Okay? I really like Aftershock. I haven't tried Phase Rush, mainly because I forgot to take it. But Aftershock still worked really well. For Jungle Gragas, it is the premier choice. For Baron Lane Gragas, you probably want to go for the Grasp of the Undying, or again, Phase Rush. Seems a little bit like a meme, but hey, let me show you the in-game cooldowns. They will blow your mind. Alright, we are level 15, we have the full item build, and I have maxed out the Fimbul Winter. And it only took me about 4 minutes just spamming my abilities with the full build to completely maximize the 700 mana on the tier passive. So you can already tell how quickly it works right now. And let me just show you these cooldowns. We have a blue buff as well. So we have the maximum amount of ability haste we can pretty much get. Let me check how much it actually is. Ability haste, 97. 97 ability haste. Cooldown reduction, 49%. How hilarious is that? Now, let me check let's check this out. Look. You have like a 2-second cooldown on the second ability. It's absolutely hilarious. Look at the third ability. You can just keep CCing people. It's crazy. And look at the first ability. It turns red, so it deals the most amount of damage, right? And you instantly have to pop it because it's already up. Look, if you just instantly pop it, it has like a 2-second cooldown. Okay? And now our blue buff actually ran out. But let me check how much difference this actually makes. None at all. None at all. That's crazy, actually. Does the blue buff not give you like 20 ability haste? Oh, check this out, man. You have a 30-second cooldown. Oh, guys, this is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Like, the enemies cannot move at all. It is so hilarious. You can just beat him up and look at these cooldowns. And this is real. This is not fake. This is what you will actually have in the real game. It is so hilarious. I really highly encourage you to at least try it out. Maybe in a PvP game if you don't dare trying it in a ranked game. But honestly, I will keep playing it in ranked. I think it's actually cracked out. Like, it's definitely more than just viable. I mean, guys, a pro player used it in esports before the Fimbul Winter buff. Whoops. Missed the ult, but yeah, guys, it is absolutely hilarious. Let me know what you guys thought about this little video here. I know it's very different from the usual content I do. Let me know if I should do that more often. I think this is a nice way to show you right at the start of a new patch, show you multiple builds instantly without having to collect gameplays first and like spacing them across different days. So again, just let me know what you guys think. Of course, for all of these champions, there will be gameplay videos coming on this channel over the next couple days, so make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell if you don't want to miss these. As always, if you don't have any thoughts about the builds or anything that I said in this video, just leave an algorithmic comment to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.